Welcome back to the second session, and the first question is, here 2-3 things are very important because of the reason in recent times historic judgments pertaining to right to privacy, triple talaq case, then article 35A pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir is also in the news. So, these 3 things you should have clear idea. That is why I am deviating from banking and economy to explain these 3 things here. What do you understand by right to privacy, and what about the judgment given by the 9-judge bench recently? A question can be asked, what is the meaning of right to privacy? The right to privacy means if I have purchased something through some e-commerce site like Flipkart, I have given some information to Flipkart, then I should have the right whether my information can be utilized by Flipkart or not. Subsequently, maybe for commercial considerations or maybe in the public domain, the organization Flipkart may utilize my information. So, I should have freedom to decide whether my information will be in public domain or not. Similarly, my information is taken by Aadhaar, that means Aadhaar is being used, that is being linked to each and every activity. So, I should have the right to decide whether my information should be available in public domain or not. So, it is the right to be left alone, the exact meaning is. So, the right of privacy means sometimes right to personal autonomy. That means it is the concept, basic concept is one's personal information is protected from public scrutiny. So, if I am using and giving my personal information for day to day uses, maybe for through e-commerce sites, Aadhaar linkage, whatever it is, and it must be protected from public scrutiny. So, now the 9-judge bench stated that right to privacy is a fundamental right. Examiner immediately will ask you, what is the meaning of fundamental right? Fundamental rights are protected as per part 3 of the Constitution, right to equality, right to practice religion, right to life and liberty. Like that, lot many fundamental rights are given by the framers of the Constitution under part 3 of the Constitution. So, if my fundamental rights are violated, I can go to Supreme Court or High Courts. Now, right to privacy became integral part of part 3 of the Constitution. So, the judgment is, it declared privacy as intrinsic to life and liberty. That means, life and liberty is guaranteed as a fundamental right under article 21 of the Constitution. So, right to privacy is intrinsic, that means it cannot be separated from article 21, and if you overall see the part 3 of the Constitution, then this right to privacy is integral part of this fundamental rights. That is the judgment of 9-judge bench. So, now if I feel that my right to privacy is violated, I can approach Supreme Court under article 32, I can approach High Court under article 226. So, this right to privacy will be enforced, that means just like any other fundamental right. But examiner will ask you, the government can impose some restrictions or not? Government certainly in the national interest, certainly in the interest of masses of the country, government can impose reasonable restrictions, right. So, this is all about right to privacy. That means, right to privacy is a fundamental right as per the Constitution, but the government can impose reasonable restrictions, right. Next one is, the Supreme Court 5-judge bench declared triple talaq as unconstitutional. Do you feel that there is a need for uniform civil code? This is quite contentious issue. Here you can answer in such a way. First, before going into how to answer, let us look at the triple talaq. Here you should have clear idea about 3 types of talaqs are there. Examiner may ask you, interviewer, that what is meant by triple talaq. There are 3 types of talaqs as per Muslim religion. One is talaq-i-ahsan, second one is talaq-i-hasan, fourth one is talaq-i-bidat. So, these 2 are different, talaq-i-ahsan, talaq-i-hasan, these 2 are different. That means after the uttering of first talaq, some period is given, during this period there is possibility of the rapprochement, or you can say the possibility of sorting out the differences within that period. So, that is talaq-i-ahsan, talaq-i-hasan. But talaq-i-bidat, the Supreme Court ruled about talaq-i-bidat only. It has not touched talaq-i-ahsan, talaq-i-hasan, but it touched talaq-i-bidat. That means, if the 3 words are uttered in succession, then it means diverse. And here the Supreme Court 5 judge bench in 3-2 judgment said that talaq-i-bidat is unconstitutional, arbitrary, right. So, you should have clear idea about this talaq-i-bidat or triple talaq. Here majority judgment, 3 judges. Here one Sharia law is there as per the Muslims, several Muslims rule, these customs are regulated by this Sharia law. So, as per Sharia law, that is incorporated in 1937. Triple talaq is a statutory right. That means 2 judges felt triple talaq is a statutory right, but not a fundamental right, because the statutory rights must be in conformity with the constitution. So, here triple talaq is arbitrary, unconstitutional, because it affects equality. So, that is why the 2 judges felt that this triple talaq is arbitrary, unconstitutional, and the 3rd judge felt that this triple talaq is not as per Quran, as per the tenets of Quran. Triple talaq, that is instant triple talaq, is not part of Sharia. That was observed by Justice Kurian Joseph. So, based on these 3 judges, that means this opinion and this opinion, if you take, that became unconstitutional. Here 2 judges felt that triple talaq is discriminatory, but it is to be protected by freedom of religion under Article 25 of the Constitution, right. So, you should have clear idea about what is triple talaq. And now the question comes, examiner or interviewer may ask you, what do you understand by uniform civil code? Irrespective of religion, irrespective of culture, irrespective of customs, all the citizens of the country must have only one code in their personal matters. So, uniform civil code is the code which is to be enforced irrespective of religion, caste, then culture, whatever it is, for all the persons. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to divorce, when it comes to property succession, everyone will have uniform law. Interviewer may ask you whether it is possible in our country. That can be thought of by taking all the minorities on board. India is a diverse country. You can answer this way. India is a diverse country with lot many beliefs, lot many castes, lot many cultures, lot many subcastes. Under these circumstances, if uniform civil code is to be enforced, everyone should be taken on board. That is the responsibility of the government, so that to alleviate the misgivings in minorities especially, right. So, you can answer these 2 questions with this. Next one is, this is also in the news. Why I decided to take up these 3 issues is, these 3 are burning issues. Article 370, that gives a special status to Jammu and Kashmir. and based on the clause of Article 370, please listen carefully, based on the clause of Article 370, the presidential order was issued somewhere around 1954, that is Article 35A. So, Article 35A, you may have a doubt for what purpose it was given. Article 35A of the Constitution gives permanent resident status to the residents of this Jammu and Kashmir. Strictly speaking, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly has got the power to define who is permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir. So, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly will have power to define who are the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, and they will be given special privileges. That means you cannot go and purchase property in Jammu and Kashmir. You cannot go and get the jobs in Jammu and Kashmir. And at the same time, if Jammu and Kashmir resident marries the person from other part of the country, he may lose some rights. So, like that, I have given only examples. Just for example's sake, I have given. So, the persons enjoy special rights in Jammu and Kashmir. That is all about Article 35A, right? I have given here. You can go through it. Then the next question is, India has gone for small finance banks as well as payment banks. How does it affect the performance of the universal banks? Or any question may be asked. Now, India has gone in a big way for payment banks as well as small finance banks, and on the other side, universal banks are there. What is the difference between universal banks and payments banks or small finance banks? Universal banks can take up any type of banking activity. That means they can go up to the extent of granting 1000 crores of rupees loans. They can go into any type of activity in the banking sector, but the differentiated banks or NIC banks, examples are payments banks, small finance banks, they are established only to take care of particular segments. If you see payments banks, that is basically for small payments transfers. So, here payments banks basic purpose is almost this banking system in the payments banks with the small savings it will work. What I mean to say is the limit is prescribed for payments banks, and at the same time they cannot give lending. Small finance banks, you see, priority sector lending must be very high, probably it is increased beyond 40%, probably the priority sector lending for small finance banks is 75%, please check it, and they have to work with specific domains. So, what I mean to convey is this payment banks, small finance banks, they are per separate category. That means they can work only in specified categories, and whereas universal banks can go to any extent to grant loans, can venture into any type of operation. State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, these are all examples of universal banks. And in fact, in the banking system, it is proved that when the size is big, then naturally there are several advantages. But now universal banks, one big problem I have told you in the first lecture with regard to project finance. This universal banks, when they are financing projects like airports, like expressways, then what happens? There are several risks associated with that, right? So, here the question is, how does it affect the performance of the universal banks? It may not affect much the performance of universal banks because the domains are different. They are particularly for catering for certain segments of sections of society. Then, what do you understand by trade deficit, current account deficit and balance of payments? Why this assumed significance is, in recent times, this India is quite comfortable with balance of payments. India is quite comfortable with current account, and you should have clear idea about what is trade deficit. Trade deficit, or you can say mercantile trade deficit, is the deficit because of exports and imports of physical goods. Please understand various words here. Because of exports and imports of physical goods, we are importing lot of oil, we are exporting basmati rice, gems and jewelry, refinery products like that. So, after calculating imports minus exports, we have deficit. So, this is exports and imports gap is mercantile trade deficit. This is more than $100 billion for us. And out of $100 billion, China alone accounts for $50 billion. So, the biggest worry for India is increasing trade deficit with China. So, trade deficit is mercantile imports minus exports. And you see services, we have lot many software services in our country. So, services we are surplus, in fact we have surplus in services. Primary income is, I have told you previously, primary income is several multinational companies established their companies here and they take lot of money through royalty, through profits like that, and that is known as primary income, or you can say factor income. Then you see secondary income. Secondary income is a son staying in America sending money to India is a secondary income. So, current account is amalgamation of these four is current account. When you consider only exports and imports, that is a trade deficit and current account, this 100 came down to around 30 now, because we have plus here, we have plus here, we have minus here. So, if you combine all, it is current account deficit is $30 billion. Then you see financial account, normally we call capital account. Capital account and financial account are one and the same, and here most important is foreign portfolio investments. Then foreign direct investment. If Hyundai is establishing car company in our country, that is direct investment. And when some mutual fund, or you can say some funds from America, some pension fund from America, if it is investing in Indian stock market, that is foreign portfolio investments. So, foreign portfolio investments, foreign direct investments, please have clarity about them. So, these two comes under financial account. Here you see our current account is deficit by $30 billion and more money is flowing into stock markets, that is a foreign portfolio investment. Sorry. In recent times, we have lot of money flow into foreign portfolio investment. That is the reason why rupee is rising, right. So, rupee raise is taking place. One more question is there, I will explain there. So, in a nutshell, if the interviewer asks what is the difference, or you can say what do you understand by trade deficit? Trade deficit is the difference between mercantile imports minus mercantile exports. So, that is $100 billion more than that, and out of which 50% is accounted for by China. Then if you club all these things, that comes to current account. Current account deficit is not that much, we are quite satisfactory, and nowadays we are seeing lot many flows, that is foreign portfolio investment flows, and foreign direct investment is also satisfactory. So, because of excessive flows, especially in foreign portfolio investment, we are seeing dollar liquidity. What is the meaning of dollar liquidity? More and more dollars are flowing into the Indian system, that is a dollar liquidity, do not forget. So, if someone asks about balance of payments, it is the sum of all transactions, current account, capital account, please do not forget financial account, another name is capital account. So, capital account or financial account, you can say one and the same, but nowadays people are calling financial account, and FDI, FPI, they are all flows into capital account. Please do not forget. India's foreign exchange reserves, please do not forget, we have record foreign exchange reserves, $393 billion, expected to reach $400 billion, the highest ever. And out of these reserves, maximum in foreign currency assets. You can say in foreign currencies like dollar, euro, our foreign currency assets are there. And what the Reserve Bank of India will do with these assets? Reserve Bank of India will simply take these foreign exchange reserves and invest in foreign countries, that is American bills, or you can say American investments, or you can say the treasury bills of America. That means American sovereign investments, India foreign currency assets will be invested. At the same time, high rated securities, this money is invested, and because of which Reserve Bank of India receives a lot of money. You cannot call that it is commercial organization, but by virtue of foreign exchange reserves management, Reserve Bank of India earning lot of money. Tomorrow I will ask one question, why Reserve Bank of India transfers money to Indian government? That I am going to ask tomorrow. We will discuss about all those things tomorrow. So, the fundamental point is India's foreign exchange reserves are the highest now, and what is its significance? I can tell you, first and the foremost is the external front is quite comfortable. There is no worry about external front. Sovereign payments, that means we have taken loans from foreign countries, from multilateral institutions, while paying back there will not be any problem because of foreign exchange reserves. Then third important aspect is because of our high foreign exchange reserves, the country is not vulnerable. Imports, you see, any country normally expects import cover of 10 months to 12 months. Our imports are around $380 billion. So, we have sufficient foreign exchange reserves for more than 12 months of imports. So, India will have confidence with more foreign exchange reserves. India will have confidence that our imports, there will not be any problem. Paying the external debt servicing, that means paying the interest on external debt, there will not be any problem. So, external debt as well as these import related payments will be taken care comfortably when foreign exchange reserves are high. So, in the examination or in the interview, straight away you can answer foreign exchange reserves are more means there will not be any problem in paying back that debt. We need not go to IMF for currency exchange related problems. Third important aspect is, as far as imports are concerned, we will be very much comfortable because we can take care of our imports without the problem of paying them, because they do not take in rupees. Importers will take in dollars. We need not worry. We have $393 billion, right? So, they may be in other currencies also, but the currencies which the foreign currency, or you can say foreign exchange reserves, will be there mostly in currencies of advanced countries. Next one is rupee is appreciating considerably during the past few months. What are the reasons behind rupee appreciation? Most important question. How does it affect Indian economy? In fact, you may be required to have group discussion also. If you are planning for group discussion, in fact, in YouTube, in learning space, right to privacy, 2 videos are there. Please watch them, and the other video pertaining to triple talaq, you also watch them. but from group discussion perspective, the topics which you can expect are rupee rise, what are its effects. Then the second point is the demonetization. Now only Reserve Bank of India given the report, 99% of the notes came back to the banking system. Of course, GST is there in addition to demonetization GST. So, these type of topics may come up for discussion, and consolidation of banks, whether it is beneficial or not. Then this consolidation, alternative mechanism, all these things is one subject. So, let us look at rupee rise. What are the reasons behind rupee appreciation? We have discussed number of times in banking also, appreciation, depreciation. It all depends on market forces. When the government deliberately ensures rupee rise, that is revaluation, and when government deliberately makes it 70 as on date 64, if government deliberately makes it 70 rupees per dollar, it is devaluation. If government deliberately makes 50, it is a revaluation, but because of market forces, if rupee moves that way or this way, this is appreciation and depreciation. Now for the past few months, rupee is appreciating. Why it is appreciating? Rupee appreciates when there is excess flow of dollars into the country. Please understand, rupee depreciates when the dollars flow into the country is not able to take care of payment of dollars. That means when dollars flowing into the country is not sufficient to take care of dollars going out of the country, then it may lead to depreciation of rupee. Now more dollars are coming into the country. When more and more dollars are coming into the country, then what happens? Dollar liquidity will increase. Because of dollar liquidity, there may not be much demand for dollars. When there is not much demand for dollars, what happens? Then the rupee may appreciate. That is what is being happened now. Sometimes what the Reserve Bank will do? Reserve Bank will do small surgery type of thing. What is that surgery? Reserve Bank will come into the market and that will suck the excess dollars. When Reserve Bank of India suck the excess dollars, that is some sort of surgery. The technical name is managed float. Reserve Bank rarely intervenes. So, that is managed float. So, Reserve Bank is not interfering, and now the rupee is appreciating. It came up to 64, and if at all Reserve Bank intervenes, it will purchase the dollars and it will allow the rupee to somewhat depreciate. So, I would like to answer two fundamental questions. What are the reasons? First and the foremost is, after Donald Trump's victory world over, investors are somewhat shaky. They lost confidence on the words and deeds of Donald Trump. That is one prime reason. Then second thing is, world investors are showing more confidence on Indian economy. That is quite evident after the Uttar Pradesh elections. After the BJP's sweep in Uttar Pradesh elections, in fact, international investors are showing lot of confidence on our economy. As America, people do not, or you can say, people's confidence on America reduced on one hand, and at the same time India became emerging market and expected. I cannot say India became emerging market, it is already emerging market, but the point to note here is India, because of the high returns, if some foreign country is coming and investing here, then returns will be increased, then they get more returns, you can say. So, in comparison to the returns in advanced economies, when they invest money in Indian stock market, here the returns expected are high. So, because of high returns, they are coming to India. In a nutshell, I will put 3-4 points. The confidence on Donald Trump's legacy, or you can say the confidence on Donald Trump's presidency is not that much for the world investors. Second thing is the confidence on Indian economy. Indian economy is doing well and is expected to do well. Third one is the reasonably good returns they are getting from a country like India. Fourth point is foreign exchange front, or you can say external front, is quite satisfactory. India has got huge foreign exchange reserves. Then the next point is this is in fact rupee is appreciating. When rupee depreciates, foreign portfolio investors may lose money, but rupee appreciates means they will gain. So, because of all these reasons, in fact they are investing in our country. And how does it affect Indian economy? When rupee raises, you see, beneficiaries will be there, losers will be there. If rupee too much appreciates, I have already told you, Reserve Bank may go for some surgery. There are news reports that Reserve Bank already purchasing dollars, but it is not confirmed by the Reserve Bank of India. So, that is known as managed float. So, if rupee appreciates, country will be benefited because of less costs on oil imports. Oil will become cheaper when rupee appreciates. Corporates will be benefited because of less cost on capital goods. If I am starting some industry, if I am importing some big textile machinery from foreign country, then I will be benefited because the capital goods cost will be reduced. Foreign portfolio investors, they are investing hugely in our Indian stock market. They will be benefited because of rupee appreciation, as they can take back more dollars. Then foreign tours will become cheaper because of appreciation of currency. Then the companies which have outstanding debt in foreign currency, so they will be benefited. But who are the losers? Most important is exporters will be the losers. That is why they are asking for the devaluation of currency. Indian multinational companies which have their operations abroad. Similarly, Indians who are dependent on foreign remittances. From foreign, if my friend is sending $1, today I may get only 64. 2 years ago, I could have got 68 rupees. So, if rupee appreciates, Indians who are dependent on foreign remittances, at the same time IT sector, BPO sector will be affected. So, when rupee appreciates too much, I have given beneficiaries as well as the losers. I have also told you why the rupee is appreciating, what are the reasons for it. In fact, emerging market currencies are all appreciating, but India is appreciating more. The flow of the foreign dollars into the Indian stock market is quite huge. Because of automation, you see this driverless cars, robots. In fact, in banks also robots are being established. Because of automation, several job losses are expected to occur, and the present day growth is dubbed as jobless growth. What is your opinion? People are talking about jobless growth. Throw some light on this. Certainly, the growth is happening, but jobs are not being created because of automation. You see this cars, that means driverless cars, this robots established in various banks and in the industrial processes. These are examples of a fourth generation, you can say. In future, lot many things are going to come because of artificial intelligence. This fourth industrial revolution is quite evident, and because of which there may be job losses. And here job market in fact does not stay static, but changes constantly with innovation in technologies. You can explain on these lines. If people are talking about jobless growth, no doubt growth is happening, job structure is changing, structure of jobs is changing, skill set levels are changing, and what is the way out also I will explain you. Many tasks undertaken by humans about 20 to 30 years ago are no longer relevant. At the same time, the jobs what we are doing today may become irrelevant after 10-20 years. So, here manual tasks would become increasingly automated, and this is the ground reality in our country today. So, jobless growth, or you can say job losses are happening. There are structural shifts taking place because of automation, but you cannot straight away say future is bleak. In fact, technological changes is the continuous procedure, but for India with a huge population, you can tell on these lines, India must immediately concentrate on 3-4 things. One is this textile jobs. India should give more boost to textiles and apparel sector, because this sector can create more and more jobs. Then food processing sector. Food processing sector can create more jobs, and another thing is value addition will be created for the farmers. That is the best way of creating the jobs, and at the same time farmers will also be benefited. And here there are certain structural deficiencies to be eliminated. India should have world class infrastructure, both the road infrastructure, both the rail infrastructure, both the port infrastructure, like that. And the next one is India can think of defense related manufacturing in a big way, because that creates number of jobs, because we are importing lot many defense equipment. Third thing is mobiles. Though they are technically manufactured in our country, basically they are being assembled. Parts are coming from various countries like China, then as well as Thailand like countries. So, here value addition in industrial process is very important. Then textile sector, food processing sector, government should concentrate on these things at least to come out of that jobless growth. Then government recently brought rupees 200 note as well as new rupees 50 note. What do you understand by legal tender? At the time of demonetization, we discussed about the rupees 500 notes, rupees 1000 notes were stripped of legal tender. Legal tender status for 500 notes, 1000 rupee notes were taken out at the time. Now, legal tender status is given to new 200 rupee note. Legal tender status is given. What is the exact meaning of legal tender? That means no one can deny the acceptance of payment of these notes. They are legally, you purchased something for 200 rupees. If you are giving this 200 rupee note, the shopkeeper is bound to accept it. That is the meaning of legal tender. Similarly, this 50 rupee note. But if you are giving the old 500 rupee note, old 1000 rupee note, they will not accept, because it is no more a legal tender. And here legal tender, how to declare a legal tender? Here you see there is power in RBI Act 1934. In 1934 RBI Act, there is section 24 subsection 1. As per this section 24 subsection 1, here based on the recommendations of Central Board of Directors of Reserve Bank of India, Government of India, or you can say Union Finance Ministry, notifies the currency notes as legal tender. Please understand carefully, as per the Reserve Bank of India Act section 24 subsection 1, based on this, based on the recommendations of Central Board of Directors of Reserve Bank of India, Union Government, or you can say Ministry of Finance, notifies currency notes as legal tender. So, once it is declared as legal tender, no one can deny its acceptance, right? That is one part. And here please do not forget, the promise is given by the Reserve Bank of India for the currency note value. Here for the currency note value, the promise is made by the Reserve Bank of India, that Reserve Bank of India governor says that I promise to pay the bearer of this note rupees 200. So, the promise is given by Reserve Bank of India, but the guarantee is given by the central government. On the currency notes, guarantee is given by the central government. So, please understand the meanings of legal tender, what is guaranteed, what is the bearer of the note, all these terminology please do not forget, right. So, this is all about this currency notes and legal tender, and one more word is there, fiduciary. Tomorrow I will explain about that. And here rupees 200 note, 3 things please do not forget from examination perspective, not only from interview perspective, but examination perspective most important. The size of 200 rupee note is 66 millimeter by 146, and it Sanchi Stupa is there on 200 rupee note. Sanchi Stupa color is a bright yellow color. If you look at 50 rupee note, it is Hampi with the chariot. At the same time, color is fluorescent blue, size is 66 by 135 millimeters. What needs to be done for India to return to 8 to 10% growth rates? Here, to return to 8 to 10% growth rates, I will explain you briefly. First and the foremost is world class infrastructure is to be created, world class logistics infrastructure. That means world class ports, world class highways, world class connectivity roads, world class railways, all these things, interior hinterland must be connected with excellent road infrastructure, then excellent transport infrastructure. So, this logistics is to be improved. At present, logistics costs in our country are 18%. And for advanced economies, they are around 6%, 8%. So, with the world class development of infrastructure, we have to reduce the cost of logistics. Second point is, in our country, back end infrastructure, or you can say farm gate to the retail level, sufficient infrastructure is to be developed. Farm gate to the retail level, sufficient infrastructure like cold storage facilities, food processing, these are the need of the hour. Next one is manufacturing is to be given thrust through Make in India, and one more point you can say, we should become global value chain. We should be into the global value chain. What is the meaning of global value chain? That means globally various products are produced in various countries, and India is unfortunately not part of global value chain. We have made our mark only in the services sector, especially software, but not in the manufacturing sector, and thrust is to be given for the industries like textiles, apparels, at the same time food processing, at the same time ease of doing business is to be further increased. Government is doing a lot, but lot more needs to be done. Labor laws are coming in the way. So, labor laws are to be simplified. Land acquisition is becoming too difficult in our country. So, people have to, government has to look at land acquisition. So, these are the important aspects to return to 10% growth rate. In fact, 8 to 10% growth rates. In fact, we touched 9% only. So, 8 to 10% means 10% will be the highest ever. But this question, India to return to may not be apt, but I have given with that intention that we already touched 9%. So, it is around 8 to 10%, that is the intention. Then there is a lot of increase in the mutual fund investments. And why mutual fund investments are called passive investments? Here you see mutual funds, I and you, we pool the money with the professionally managed fund house. That means I invest 10,000 rupees with this fund house. Fund houses means Reliance Mutual Fund, ICICI, UTI, HDFC, like that. So, I invest with these fund houses and they apply their brain and invest in various companies. My brain is not required to be used, that is why they are called passive investments. You may have a doubt, why the investments in mutual funds are increasing? The investments in mutual funds are increasing because of the reason now the fixed interest rates are reducing. In the banking system, fixed interest rates are reducing. At the same time, the interest rates on savings deposits are also coming down. Under the circumstances, to have more returns, some of the people, some of the enlightened people are coming to the route of mutual fund. And here Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, why the government launched. Tomorrow I will explain about that. And mutual funds, this is schematic representation. The last question for today, what do you understand by soft Brexit, hard Brexit? It is better to explain you about European Union, single market, customs union. Tomorrow I will explain you, otherwise you may not understand hard Brexit and soft Brexit. Hard Brexit means all of you are familiar with Brexit. This UK leaving European Union is Brexit, that means exit of Britain, that is Brexit. So, 28 member European Union group is there. UK is going to come out of that European Union by March 2019, and while coming out, the relation with the European Union, how it is going to be, that indicates a hard Brexit or soft Brexit. Hard Brexit means it leaves everything. It has to leave single market, it has to leave customs union, and everything, it will become just like any other country. Subsequently, it has to negotiate with European Union. Soft Brexit means keeping some aspects of the European Union with European Union, or you can say some of the traits of European Union will be continued by United Kingdom after its exit. That is a soft Brexit. Right friends, we discussed for around 45 minutes in the second lecture, and remaining aspects I will try to discuss tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Have a nice day, and tomorrow I will try to cover whatever I could not cover today, and your group discussion. These lectures will be useful even for group discussions also, but I basically formulated these lectures with a view to make you prepare for interviews. And if you want group discussion, the best option is editorial discussion. Whatever the economy, banking related aspects we discussed during the past 2 months, if you view those things, probably that may be useful for your group discussions. Editorial discussions for the past 2 months, economy and banking related events, in addition to why and how. Basically listen the economy and banking related events, and some of the modules like Rupee rise, right to privacy, all these types of modules, if you listen them, probably in group discussion also they may be highly beneficial. Right friends, we will meet tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Right, with this let me conclude. Have a nice day. Thank you.